Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Andrew. Welcome back to Music Theory Logic. Today, I thought it'd be fun to mess around in Serum like I always do, but so you guys can watch. So let's go ahead into a logic session. Now, this is nothing fancy. It's literally just a session where I'm really just making some ideas. I have some various sequences of MIDI that I'm using to trigger said idea. So let's do this from scratch. So I'm going to create a new instance of Serum. So all your third-party instruments are going to be down there. I'm going to create the Serum. Now, my skin might look a little bit different. I forget. It might be the Virtual Riot skin that you're looking at. This also might be Kill the Noise. I love both those producers and have both their skins and can't keep them straight. But anyway, this is Serum. This is a default patch. This is not going to sound very good. I will also play some drums here. Bear with me. It's going to sound pretty harsh. All right, cool. In one of my favorite keys, D minor. So we're just going to build some basses. All right, so one of the things about bass, we're going to want something with a lot of clean sub sounds. So we could use our subby saw. All right, now I'm going to lower the octave. Nice. Add a second oscillator. I'm going to use some cymatics. How about Blaze growl table? Probably hear some movement from the wavetable position right there changing. So what if we take an LFO, tie that to our wavetable position? And instead of doing that, let's make a cooler sort of LFO pattern. So we're on an 8th note grid, so essentially it's really hard to see these, but if I did a peak on every one, that's going to be like an 8th note stutter if I have the speed set to a bar. So I'm not going to get super specific about what these are, or I'm going to make it so that there's some weird stuff happening, and let's just hear what happens. I'm going to slow it down to a bar. Again, some movement. Let's turn this to FM from B. That's going to create some pretty crazy static. That's your FM sound. Let's modulate that. Nice. Let's do some filtering. Use a second oscillator. This is going to make that bounce. All right. Let's get some pitch movement. Now another option, instead of using oscillator A for our sub, we could use our actual sub sound. Create that sort of stutter sound. Alright, let's compress that. Just a multi-band. Totally bring out a harmonic there by tying that to our note. Cool. So really, sky's the limit. We can tie all sorts of stuff to our LFOs. Let's just repeat. So you want to really just experiment a ton. What I like to do is bounce these into audio at the end of the day. We're going to start from scratch again. So let's go to our initial preset. Now, instead of building a bass instrument, let's try to build a really cool pluck. So if I take this, I'm going to want to write a melody that sounds a little bit cooler. I'll get rid of that. We're in the key of D minor. Maybe even not a melody. We can just like make an arpeggio. Let's make it a lot faster. How about that? Cool. So there's all sorts of ways to make pluck type sounds. One, if you use your ADSR, attack, decay, release, that's going to make anything pluck. So that's one option. Another option, shout out to Jake Kill the Noise for showing me this. Not in the flesh, I wish. Hopefully someday I'll get to meet him. He is one of my favorite producers ever. But if I use the envelope right here, it's only going to play once. And instead of using our envelope over here, we can actually control the shape and time a lot better. And we can have this control other parameters too. So if I take this and tie it to the volume of that oscillator, it's going to do basically the same thing, a pluck. So we could shape this a lot more. Now we can start trying different wavetables. It's pretty cool. Now, really with the plucks, less is, you know, you can overdo it with in terms of the actual sound creation, but since it's a short attack, they sound great with reverbs. So we could actually use an LFO to make our reverb movement slightly more interesting. Something like that on our mix. This is one thing I've discovered recently on the phaser. You can do this like frequency modulation. That's going to add some like pitch movement to it. Starts to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm tripping out. What else? We could put some delays on here. Now, I want to actually put my delay after the reverb. We could also have that same LFO. Let's hear what the delay would sound like before our reverb. Kind of like it before. Your EQ is really useful to start like shaping, pulling stuff out. So you could say like take away an annoying sound if you want. You could find it. Take it out. You could also add to that movement of the pitch. I like it. Now, and then we have a custom made patch that we can start writing to. So I could, let me just make this more interesting. We'll change just like one note from our arpeggio. And then we'll change another note. And then finally, some of you are like, this looks like magic. If you do this enough, you can start to hear the notes in your head. So I'm going to go to there. Hear that with our former bass we made. Pretty aggressive. Maybe we want a smoother bass. So let me take that same bass line we had. This is literally the easiest sound I think you could possibly build, because it's somewhere somebody's rolling their eyes, because this isn't even really building a sound. If I just go to initial, I turn off the oscillator that comes on, I turn on our sub, I put it to down an octave. Another simple sub you can do is analog BD sign. Again, you can always make a movement with your LFO. Let's add a little bit of a quarter note feel without changing our MIDI at all. Take that to quarter note. Nice. Basically have an idea going. Let's hear it with our drums. Trippy, but hopefully you found that helpful. I thought sound design was like super scary in the beginning, and a lot of times like it can keep you from trying to sound design by watching other people's videos and seeing like you know they're so good at this. Like, I could never be that good at it. But like, honestly, I'm still not very good compared to other people, but I'm like way better than I once was at the sound design stuff. And the only way to get better at it is to keep trying it. And again, if any of you guys make sounds or make sound design videos, leave me a link in the comments. I'd love to support your stuff and hear the sounds you're building. So if you found this helpful, you'd help me out by subscribing to the channel. If you do, I'll see you guys next time. Until then, have a great time with whatever you're doing. Cheers.